All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about this constant push and pull that's happening all the time in the American legal system. It's this quiet battle between federal power and state power, a kind of invisible balancing act that actually shapes a ton of the laws we live under. And really, it all comes down to this one huge question. When you've got a big federal law that seems to crash right into a state law, who wins? Who has the final say? Is it the federal government, or do the states get to hold their ground? That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. So to get this, we first need to meet the two key players in this legal drama. On one side, you have these really broad federal laws, and on the other, an act that was specifically designed to give power back to the states. Okay, so check this out. On the one hand, you have these heavy-hitting federal laws like RICO, the one designed to go after organized crime across the entire country. Super broad, super powerful. But then you have something like the McCarran-Ferguson Act, which does the complete opposite. It basically draws a line around the insurance industry and tells the federal government, hey, back off. The states have got this one. You can already see where this is headed, right? It's a collision course. And look, this isn't just some dusty old legal theory. These two forces had a real-world showdown in a case called Humana versus Forsyth. This case was the perfect test to see which of these powerful legal ideas would have to give. So here's what happened. Some people tried to use that big federal RICO law against an insurance company. But the company fired back, saying, whoa, hold on a second. The McCarran-Ferguson Act says insurance is state territory. This federal law can't touch us. And boom, that set up the ultimate legal test. So what do you think? Did the court go with the massive power of the federal government, or did it protect the specific authority it had given to the states? Let's find out. So how did the court settle this? What's so fascinating isn't just who won, but the simple, almost elegant logic the court came up with to solve this kind of problem for good. They laid out this really straightforward two-part test. And here's the bottom line, right from the court itself. They basically said, nope. The McCarran-Ferguson Act doesn't just create a force field around an industry, protecting it from all federal laws, so RICO could still apply. But why? And this is the brilliant part. The court didn't put the two laws in a ring to see which one was stronger. Instead, they asked a much smarter question. Can these two laws exist at the same time without messing each other up? It was all about coexistence, not conflict. And this test just lays it all out. The court said a federal law like RICO can step in as long as it passes two checks. First, does it get in the way of what the state is trying to do with its own rules? And second, does it totally disrupt the system the state has already set up to manage things? To put it another way, the court's message was pretty clear. If the federal law is just adding another layer of rules or protections, and it's not trying to tear down the whole house the state already built, then yeah, they can both exist together, no problem. Okay, so let's zoom out. What's the bigger picture here? This decision wasn't just about this one case. It set a really important precedent for how federal and state power are supposed to work together. We can actually give this a name, federal coexistence. And it's this core idea that federal power doesn't always have to bulldoze state power. They can actually work side by side, maybe even make the whole system stronger, as long as that federal law plays nice with the state setup. So the next time you hear about a clash between a federal and a state law, just remember this case. It's not always a fight to the death to see who wins. A lot of the time, it's just about figuring out if they can both work together. That respect for the state system, that's the absolute key. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. This whole delicate dance between federal and state power is happening all the time, in all sorts of areas, way beyond insurance. Think about environmental rules, education, you name it. So how does this invisible balancing act affect other parts of your life, maybe in ways you've never even really thought about before?